ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासाहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च श्रीकृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much for joining today. Please accept our humble obeisances and lots of danvats from all the devotees who have joined and will be joining later. Mataji, we are grateful for you for the class that you presented last time on Govardhan Puja, and we really would like to learn more. So I think we hand over to you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you very much. Please accept my obeisances on Glory Srila Prabhupada. And thank you very much, everyone, for attending this class, giving me this opportunity, and making time. I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity. I don't feel qualified at all, but at the same time, it has always been a desire of mine, actually, for a number of years, that this would be such a nice slideshow presentation, and the speaker is always giving the class with the aim of self-purification. So I don't feel I have any qualifications, but we do this for our own purification, to elevate ourselves and elevate devotees around us. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. What happened now? With the slideshow. Okay, so we left off where I don't know how this, just 1 second. Okay, so last time we had left off where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is about 50 meters from from Kusum Sarovar. It says it is possible that this is the first time where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started seeing the Shilas, the stones of Govardhan, and he fell to the ground in tears of ecstasy, and he embraced one of the Shilas. So I'll just chant some introductory verses glorifying Govardhan Hill. Namaste Girirajaya Shri Govardhana Namine Vishesha Klesha Nashaya Paramananda Daine I offer my most respectful obeisances to Giriraj. His name is Govardhan. He takes away all one's miseries and instead gives one the highest ananda, the highest bliss, paramananda. Saptahame vachuta hasta padma ke bringayamanam falamula kandare samsevyamanam harim atma vrindakam Govardhanam tam shirasanamami. I bow my head to the ground and offer obeisances to Giriraj Govardhan, who rested upon the lotus hand of Achyuta for 7 days, like a bumblebee resides on a lotus. He expertly serves Hari and his dearest devotees by providing them with an abundance of varieties of fruits, roots, and caves. And this is by Siddha Krishna Das Babaji from Sri Sadhanamrita Chandrika 134. Then, as I was preparing the slides and the presentation for today, I came across a very nice statement made by His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami, and said, "The stones of Govardhan are made of love, and they can bestow love on us." So we're so fortunate to have come across, you know, Giriraj in our lives. We're so fortunate. So there was a devotee last time who asked a question about the Shilas. So this is an example of how Shilas are worshipped. You can't just go and take the rock. They come to you. They come to you. So maybe this is a bit pompous of me, but these two Shilas came to me. So I try and serve them. So this is just an example of how devotees worship Govardhan Shila. Then, so here when Lord Chaitanya saw Govardhan Hill, he immediately offered obeisances, falling down on the ground like a rod. He embraced one piece of rock from Govardhan Hill and he became mad. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 1816. And the verses, Govardhan dekhe Prabhu hoila dandavat, ekashila alingya hoila unmata. So now we kind of like touched just a little bit on Manasiganga, but I didn't have time to say any pastimes. So these are some pictures of Manasiganga. This is a nice one. Let me say yes. So we can keep it at this one. This is a very big temple. And this used to be, so another nice verse about Manasiganga. I don't have the Sanskrit here. I just have the English translation. It's from Vrajavilas Tava by Raghunath Das Goswami. Manasi Ganga intensely enjoys the pleasurable taste of the boating pastimes of Gandharvika and Mura Vimardan. That's the name of Krishna. With her plentiful waves, she pushes about piles of effulgent rocks from Govardhan Hill. May this lake give me protection. I'll just read it one more time. Manasi Ganga intensely enjoys the pleasurable taste of the boating pastimes of Gandharvika and Mura Vimardan. With her plentiful waves, she pushes about piles of effulgent rocks from Govardhan Hill. May this lake give me protection. So, Manasi Ganga. So, we started at Kusum Sarovar. Then there was Ban Bihari Mandir. Then we also saw Tribhuvanath Prabhu's Pushpa Samadhi. Then, of course, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must have seen the rocks for the first time. So now the next main stop would be Manasiganga, which I think would be about, if I'm not mistaken, about 1.5 to 2 kilometers from Kusum Sarovar. So Manasiganga is the largest of all sacred lakes or kundas found in Vraja area. Manasi Ganga used to be much, much, much larger than it is today. So just the way Giri Govardhan is shrinking, so is Manasi Ganga. So this lake or this kund, which used to be a lake before, is considered none different from the Ganges, only more potent. So say, like we all know, as Hindus, we all know that bathing in the Ganges purifies us from all our sins. But bathing in Manasi Ganga not only purifies us from all our sins, but it also gives us prema bhakti. It bestows upon us bhakti and love of Krishna, love for the divine couple. So just by bathing in Manasi Ganga. And these statements are not, overstatements. If anything, they're probably understatements. The test is our faith, though. If we have the faith, the potency is there. And Manasi Ganga is actually right in the middle of Govardhan. So, appearance of Manasi Ganga. So one time Krishna and the boys were tending cows as they normally do during the day near Govardhan Hill. And then a demon named Vatsasura came, and the form that Vatsasura had taken to disguise himself was that of a calf. So he mingled with the other calves that the Krishna and the boys were looking after. But Krishna knew. So he warned Balaram. So after some time, Krishna and Balaram crept up behind him and just, swept him up from his hind legs and just, thrust him onto a tree. They grabbed him by his hind legs, whipped him with great force, and threw him against a nearby tree. And the demon died. Now, but because he had killed a demon in the form or in the body of a calf, so the cowherd boys told him that, no, you have to go and bathe in the Ganges to purify yourself. But Krishna never wants to leave Vrindavan. He really did not want to leave Vrindavan. So he decided to invite Ganga to come to Vraja. And he meditated on Mother Ganga, and she immediately appeared. I think she wears white and she rides on a crocodile. She immediately appeared. And the lake, so the lake formed there. So this is why the name is Manasi Ganga. Ganga that appeared from the mind of Krishna, because Manasa means mind. Even in Gujarati, we say man. So Manasa means mind. So Ganges that appeared from Krishna's mind. So that's a brief pastime about how Manasi Ganga appeared.
Sorry, Mataji. My internet went away. I didn't get how it appeared. Sorry, can you please repeat that?
Yeah, sure. So one time, Krishna and the cowherd boys were pasturing the cows as they normally do near Govardhan Hill. So one demon named, Vatsasura came disguised in the form of a calf, and he just kind of like mingled with Krishna's calves and other calves, thinking that he will not be detected. But Krishna knew. And Krishna just informed Balaram. So after a while, they crept up behind the calf and whipped him up with his hind legs and just thrust him against a tree, and the demon died. Now, however, although he was a demon, but because he had taken the form of a calf, the cowherd boys, they told Krishna that because he killed a demon in the body of a calf, he would have to go to the Ganges and purify himself. But Krishna never wants to leave Vrindavan. So he thought, okay, so then he just meditated and he requested Ganges to come to Vrindavan. And as soon as he meditated on Mother Ganga, she immediately appeared. She immediately appeared, and Krishna asked her to stay there, and hence this lake was formed. So Manasa means mind. So Ganges that appeared from the mind of Krishna, and that is Manasi Ganga. So that is how she appeared. So one time, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, Nanda Baba, Mother Yashoda, they all heard this pastime of how once Garuda captured a snake and he had held the snake by the mouth and he was flying with the snake. And he was flying past the Ganges, the original Ganges, not Manasi Ganga, the original Ganges. And the snake's tail touched the Ganges as Garuda was flying past the Ganges. And as immediately the tail of the snake, when touched the water of the Ganges, the snake turned into a four-armed Vaikuntha form. And when Garuda realized that, he straight away took that living entity to Vaikuntha. So when they heard the glories of Mother, of how powerful it is, just bathing in the Ganges, just a few drops touching your body, they all desired to take a trip to the Ganges. So, you know how in the village they start preparing prasad and they're preparing the bullock carts and this and this. And Krishna comes back home and is like, Mata, Pita, what is all this? Where are we going? Krishna never wants to leave Vrindavan. And they're like, oh, we're going on pilgrimage. We're going to the Ganges. We're going to take a bath there. It's very auspicious. It's very purifying, very cleansing. And then and said, but no, you don't have to. You don't have to go. You don't have to leave Vrindavan. Ganges is here in Govardhan. So they're thinking, okay, Krishna is a kid, you know, he's coming up with all these imaginations and stories. They're like, and he's like, no, 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 for real, you know, for real. Mother Ganga resides here in Vrindavan. And he brought them to Manasi Ganga. And they still didn't believe because for them it's just, okay, it's a lake. And then he just, you know, again closed his eyes and Mother Ganges appeared in her form. And then they were all astounded, astonished, very, you know, respectful, offered their obeisances. And then they were very happy. They all took their bath there, and then nobody had to leave Vrindavan. So that's one pastime. And then um, so the main pastime that obviously Manasi Ganga is known for is the boating pastime. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, if anyone hears about the divine couple's boat pastimes, he will become stunned in ecstasy and will not be possible for him to stop hearing them. So I'll repeat that again. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, if anyone hears about the divine couple's boat pastimes, he will become stunned in ecstasy and will not be possible for him to stop hearing them. Then there's a nice verse in the Govardhan Ashtakam by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And one of the verses, I think it's the 8th verse, 7th or 8th verse. Yeah, maybe. Yatraiva Gangam Anunaviradham Arhoya Madhyatu Nimagna Noka Krishno hi Radhanugalo Bhavausa Govardhano me Dishatam Abhistam. While Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna was sailing on Manasi Ganga, their boat began sinking. Radharani desperately held on to Krishna's neck, and the Lord looked strikingly handsome in this way. May Govardhan Hill always fulfill my desire. Well, I always add, may Govardhan Hill always fulfill my spiritual desires. I'll repeat that, the English again, because it's so nice. While Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna were sailing on Manasi Ganga, their boat began sinking. Radharani desperately held onto Krishna's neck, and the Lord looked strikingly handsome in this way. May Govardhan Hill always fulfill my desire. So one day, it was late afternoon, and Radharani and the gopis wanted to go across on the other side of Govardhan to sell milk, yogurt, and butter, milks, yogurt, butter, and sweets. And but surprisingly, that day there was only a very old boat and a young boatman. So after some back and forth, yes and no, this and that, about how much he's going to charge and how they're going to pay, they agreed that they will pay him in milk and milk sweets and butter. So they got onto the boat and he started rowing. He had like a chadar, he had kind of like disguised himself, the boatman. And so he just started rowing, and they hadn't even moved so much, not so long. And then the boatman says, "Okay, I'm really, really tired. You'll have to feed me now, and not once we get onto the other side." So in a half and a puff, the gopis, gave him some milk sweet, some butter, some makhan mishri. And then he ate, and then and then he just started rowing, and not even a few minutes, he's like, "Oh, now I'm really full and bloated. I'm gonna have to take rest." And the gopis are just like, "What kind of a boatman is this, And then after a while he says, "Can two gopis, one each massage my hands, and another two, one each massage my legs, please?" And the gopi is like, "Yeah, sure, sure. We'll hold your hands and your legs and we'll throw you out of the boat." So he quickly sat up and started rowing the boat. But no sooner had he started than the old boat started filling up with water. So the gopis are, flustered, panicking. "Oh my God, what's happening? What's happening?" Then he said, "The boat is too heavy. You go, and you're going to have to throw all your milk sweets, your milk, your butter, everything, your yogurt, everything out. Otherwise, the boat is going to sink and we're going to die." So very reluctantly, I think I have, yeah, very reluctantly, they, threw their pots, and then still the boat is still filling up with water. And then Krishna, the boatman, is like, "Sorry, ladies, the boat is still too heavy. Now you're going to have to take out all your jewelry, all your necklaces, all your earrings, everything, and throw them into the water." And the gopis are like, "What? Are you mad? How can we do that? How can we go home without our jewelry? What are our parents going to say?" And Krishna is like, Okay, and the alternative is that we all sink and we all leave our bodies. And what are your parents going to say then? So very, very reluctantly, they, took all their jewels out straight away. And then, still now there's still water filling up in the boat. And Krishna says, "The boat is still too heavy. You're going to have to remove your clothes and throw them in the water." And they're like, "We're going to throw you off the boat, and that will surely solve our weight problem." So then he started rowing again, and suddenly, dark clouds appeared and strong winds were created that started rocking the boat side to side strongly back and forth, as you can see from this wonderful, wonderful picture. So at that moment, Radharani got so terrified that she might fall into the water. She leapt forward and thrust her arms around the boatman. As soon as she did that, she realized that boatman was none other than Krishna. And so the rest of the gopis are just like wondering what is going on. And then she takes the flute from his dhoti that was tucked inside his dhoti, and she shows the flute to all the gopis, and then they're so relieved. Oh, okay, she's just embracing Krishna. And then everything settled down. The clouds, the gray clouds dispersed, the water settled down, it became very smooth, no more hole in the boat, nothing. And then Krishna took them for a long boat ride around Manasiganga. So this is the episode again. Like I said, I don't, I haven't gone into depth, but this is and there's so many versions of this pastime, but this is the one I read in. There's a book called Govardhan Hill. So very amazing, very beautiful. Just kind of like gives us a picture, a glimpse of their amazing exchanges and their rasa, and just gives us a glimpse of what the spiritual world is all about. You can just imagine how much fun, how much teasing and banter and laughing and that goes on in the spiritual world. So, Lord Chaitanya based here. And like I said, normally devotees, everyone normally takes a bath in the Manasi Ganga, and then they start their Govardhan Parikrama. They take a bath in the Manasi Ganga. Then they come out of Manasi Ganga, and there's like, obviously now it's all houses, but it's a general gradation like a hill. And you go up that hill, and after bathing in Manasi Ganga and walking up the hill, they come to this Haridev temple, which again I touched on last time. They offer their obeisances to Haridev, and this is where now normally people start their parikrama. But for some reason, ISKCON devotees, we always start from Kusum Sarovar. So it says that Lord Chaitanya bathed in Manasi Ganga, and then he took darshan of Haridev, and that is where he started his parikrama. Very beautiful deity and Haridev, and we'll come back to or I could do, yeah, can do Haridev. So this is Haridev, the temple, and this is the deity inside, holding Giri Govardhan. You can see his left arm is up, raised, holding Govardhan Hill. However, this is the Pratibhu Murti of Lord Haridev. The original one, again during the Mughal rule and Aurangzeb and all that, the deity was taken to, it seems, to a town known as Rajdhani near Kanpur. Unfortunately, today, nobody knows where the original deity is anymore. The original deity was installed by Vajranabh, Krishna's great-grandson, about 5,000 years ago. So the pastime of this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful temple and deity is that, so this is right next to Manasi Ganga. So the gopis were waiting here to have darshan of Krishna, as they normally always do every morning. And for some reason that day, they started feeling intense separation from Krishna and started calling out, Haridev, Haridev, Haridev. Suddenly, this intense separation, and their feelings of some separation just kept intensifying so much, so much so they thought that they're going to leave their bodies. And then at that time, suddenly a beautiful deity of Krishna appeared as a 7-year-old boy, holding Govardhan Hill in his left hand and his transcendental flute in the other. So out of their intense love and separation, this deity manifested. So then the gopis were in ecstasy, and they performed all kinds of worship and offered wonderful offerings. And after that day, Radharani and gopis would come here every day to worship Haridev. because again, just how amazing this is, a manifestation of their intense love and vipralamba, separation. So this deity completely represents that intense love and intense separation. Very beautiful deity. Even though it's Pratibhu, we worship this deity as the original, and even this deity as it is very, very, very stunningly beautiful. And if you go there at 5:30 in the morning, it's very interesting. That's the time they're dressing the deity, and surprisingly, they don't close the curtains. So you can sit there and watch the whole how Haridev is dressed, and it is so nice. It is such a nice almost like a pastime of seeing how he's being dressed. It kind of like never leaves your mind. So if you're ever in Vrindavan, if you're ever thinking of going to Govardhan, just make sure you end up at Haridev temple at 5:30 in the morning, and you can see this beautiful deity being dressed. Then okay, so then there is Brahmakund. Brahmakund also is just very close to Manisiganga. It used to be in a very, very bad state. It used to be very dilapidated. It was just like a garbage ground. And then there is this, it says that actually, yes, the Braj Foundation. This is a group, this is a foundation that came together and decided to just re clean, reignite all these little lost places. And they were doing really, really well until COVID. And I don't know if after COVID they have resumed the services. Look at how beautiful they've made. This was just a complete like garbage, people, it was just garbage. It was just, and they have transformed it into such a nice kund, such a nice area. So here in Brahmakund, so when Mahaprabhu was in in Govardhan, he stayed the night at Haridev temple. And then in the afternoon, he took his bath in Brahmakund, and he had his lunch here at the banks of the Kund. So in Bhakti Ratnakar, it is explained that after Brahma stole the cows and the cowherd boys, after that pastime, when Brahma realized what an offense he had made, because when he went there after a moment, which was after one earthly year, thinking that he will see a very bewildered and perplexed and confused Krishna in anxiety, looking for the cowherd boys and the cows. Instead, he saw the same cowherd boys, the same calves there. Not only that, he saw them in also their four-handed form, and Krishna just enjoying his lunch with them. So then he realized that Krishna indeed is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he started offering this praise. And since Krishna is standing there with rice and yogurt in his left hand, and literally the yogurt is dripping from his fingers, and he's just standing there. And this is Lord Brahma, the four-headed Lord Brahma, reciting these wonderful verses. And Krishna he's not impressed. He's not impressed. He's just thinking, I want to go and play with my friends, and this entity is offering these prayers. Okay. But he wasn't that impressed because Brahma separated Krishna from the cowherd boys and Krishna from the cows for a year. So he wanted some mercy, and these prayers that he offered are in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Brahma, all right, he recited this prayer, and then he just really wanted some mercy. So he thought for sure after Krishna finishes his rice and yogurt that he's holding in his left hand, for sure he's going to come to Brahmakund to wash his hands. So Brahma transformed into a fish. in Brahmakund. So Krishna went to wash his hands in Brahmakund, and then when he bent down to wash his hands, he saw this funny looking fish, this weird looking fish staring back at him. So he just got up and he left and he washed his hands in Manasiganga instead. So is it like poor Brahma, he didn't get the mercy. He wanted to eat the remnants from whatever was washed off. Okay, so then after this, now we're leaving Mansiganga, comes the Karavanda. This is Chakratirtha. Where am I now? Let's do this. Okay, this is Mukharavinda. A little bit of a distance from now Manasiganga. From Manasiganga, as you're approaching Govardhan town, this is called Mukharavinda temple. You can see there are two shilas. One is at the top that has these threads, and one is at the bottom with the garland on top. So this is actually a majestic sandstone temple, almost on the banks of Manasiganga, and it contains the lotus mouth of Giriraj. So Mukharavinda means mouth. And gallons and gallons and gallons of milk is offered here every day at the mouth of Giriraj, and so much milk sweets are offered here every day by pilgrims. So now, as you do Govardhan Parikrama, there are so many places that they call Mukharavinda. So many places. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur confirmed that this is the actual Mukharavinda. This is the mouth and tongue of Giriraj Govardhan. So now that's the Shila at the bottom with the garland, and then the Shila behind it, the standing Shila, so to speak, has an imprint, an outline of Krishna's crown. And then so that's Mukharavinda. And then Chakratirtha, I will just read the significance of Chakratirtha from this book. So this is Chakratirtha. There's a nice verse from Vrajavila Stava by Raghunath Das Goswami again. I worship the lake on all sides of Govardhan Hill, including Siri Lake, Brahma Lake, Kadamba Khanda Lake, Kusum Lake, Rudra Lake, Apsara Lake, Gorika Lake, Jyotsna Mokshana Lake, Malyahara Lake, Vibudhari Lake, and Indradwaja Lake. And I also worship the gem-studded thrones on Daivata Hill at Chakratirtha. This is the spot on the northern bank of Manasiganga where Lord Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra is embedded. When Krishna was holding Govardhan Hill and protecting the Vrajavasis from the torrents of rain sent by Indra, the Lord could see that the huge deluge of water on the hill might wash down, creating a flood that would drown everyone in its wake. Therefore, Krishna released his Sudarshan Chakra. It stayed over the hill for 7 days and produced heat equal to 7 suns, evaporating large quantities of water and averting a flood. Sudarshan Chakra requested Krishna. So after the pastime, Sudarshan Chakra requested Krishna a place to stay in Vraja, and the Lord told him to stay here at this place, which became celebrated as Chakratirtha. So another nice, amazing place. Also, Giriraj Govardhan is getting very built up. A lot of these small places are now getting covered up. But thankfully, we have these wonderful, wonderful books that have all the pastime places, the pictures of what it looked like. So that is Chakratirtha. So I'll end with the slideshow presentation here. But I just wanted to connect it to the fact that today is the last day of Kartik, but it's also the first day of our increased commitment to our spiritual progress. Our vows, our austerities, our extra reading, chanting, it ideally doesn't stop here. It actually begins here. This whole pastime of this month, 2 fingers too short. Mother Yashoda couldn't tie Krishna to the wooden grinding mortar because it was always 2 fingers too short. And the 2 fingers represent one, our endeavor, and two, Krishna's mercy. It is only when Krishna saw how much Mother Yashoda was struggling and decided, okay, fine, I'll let her tie me, is when she could tie him. So our spiritual progress depends on two things, our endeavor and Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy, however, is everywhere. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his mood is known as Odarya Lila. Krishna's Madhurya Lila. Lord Chaitanya's Odarya Lila. What does Odarya mean? It means extreme mercy, extremely magnanimous and munificent in just giving out his mercy. He's giving out not only his mercy, but he's giving out this prema, this love of God, that freely to anyone who's just willing to take it up. We are not sadhana siddhas. We cannot and will not, and we're not here to perfect our sadhana, but we are kripa siddhas. We're made of the mercy of Krishna and the Vaishnavas and the gurus and the sadhus. It is only this mercy that will enable us to develop love for Krishna. So, mercy is there in abundance everywhere, everywhere. And more so it is there in serving the Vaishnavas, serving Krishna, serving the Vaishnavas, serving the sadhus, serving the devotees. And I always emphasize so much on the everyday, local, the devotee that you're just sitting next to. Uh, there's emphasis on, looking for a sadhu, looking for a pure devotee. Yes, of course. We need that. We need them as role models. We need them to follow in their footsteps. But what we have next to us, just the other devotee, there's so much mercy there in just serving each other. There's so much intense, immense mercy right here. Yes, in chanting, yes, in reading, yes, in remembering. But my experience, what the scriptures say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada Gurma, the mood is just try and serve Vaishnavas. Try and serve just your local devotees right next to you. And there's just so much mercy there. There's so much mercy there. So mercy is there. Mercy is there. We just have to endeavor to take up that mercy. So let this not be the last day of Kartik, but let just be the beginning, in fact, of just continued chanting, continued reading, continued remembering of Krishna, continued serving Krishna every moment, every day, in whichever way. Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, whatever you offer as sacrifices, do it to me. Patram pushpam phalam toyam manmana bhavamad bhakta madhyajimam namaskuru. Offer your obeisances to me, offer your mind to me, think of me, remember me, worship me. So many things, and we can do this. We can do this every day, from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. This process is so wonderful, how Krishna has designed, Krishna has May these verses come true for us. Putram patram pushpam phalam toyam. So easy, so easy. Offer him some waters, a tulsi leaf, something, a fruit, he's happy. And then accept that as prasad. Whatever you do, you go to work, think, okay, Krishna, let my work today be an offering to you. You're looking after your children, whatever, let this be an offering to you. In whatever situation, to whatever degree I can, let me influence them positively in Krishna consciousness. Anything you do can be an offering to Krishna. When I was very, very young, this devotee always used to come at the end of the month when the husband was given a check, his salary. She'd always come and offer it to Shri Radha Banki Bihari, And after a while, of course, she'll take it back. They have to pay their expenses. But when I was younger, I was just like, hmm. But as I grew up, I actually really came to appreciate that gesture. Whatever it is, first offer it to Krishna. Krishna understands you have bills to pay, you have children to support, you have children to educate, you have yourself to support. And it's not getting easier, it's getting more and more difficult every day financially, it's the economic situation is such. So Krishna understands that. But that act of offering your salary to him, he accepts that. He accepts that. And then whatever is served, whatever is remain, if you can, anything, 1%, 10%, 8%, 7%, 50%, 20%, whatever you can. Whatever you can. So Manmana Bhava Bhakto, think of me, offer your obeisance to me. We can all offer our obeisances to Krishna. How many times a day? Unlimited times a day. We can do it. Just a picture of Krishna. Think of me, So nice to think about these pastimes. Give your mind to me, So these verses, Srila Prabhupada has enabled us, has given us the capacity and for these verses to come alive in our lives, so that you can step back and think, to a certain degree, yes, I'm doing this. Whatever you do, yes, what I am. Patram Pushpam, yes, I am. Manmana Bhavamad Bhakta Madhyajimam Namaskaru, yes, I am. We're not 100% purely, we're not there, but we're doing. And this is the gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us. This is the gift that Srila Prabhupada has given us. He's making these verses come alive for us. This process is so simple, so sublime, so sublime. What we get in comparison to what we put in is not, is incomparable. Normally in life, in materialistic life, you put in 10 or 20% in your studies, and that's pretty much what you'll get back. You put 70% in a relationship, you'll get 70% back, 10% plus or minus. That's the material world, But here, through this magnanimous mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, you just make a little effort. But what you get back, the mercy you get back, is literally you put in 10% and you get 90%. That's a good deal. Who wouldn't want to do that investment, Who would want to make that kind of investment? You put in 20 and you get 90. But this is what Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have given us. This endeavor, it's a little endeavor, you get so much. And the mercy is there. Mercy is just free flowing in the area there. You just have to grab it. So, yes, please let this not be the last day, but let this be the first day of just continuing whatever it is that you've been doing, or whatever it is that you want to increase, be progressive in your spiritual life. If you're progressive in your spiritual life, you'll always get taste. The minute you stagnate in your spiritual life is when you'll start losing taste, and then you'll start looking for taste in material things. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Any questions, any comments, any corrections, anything that needs to be corrected? Kindly.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for taking us all the way from Kusum Sarovar to Haridev temple and Brahma Sarovar and the other places, the resting place for Chakra.
Chakra,
Sorry, Chakra?
Chakra Tirth.
Chakra Tirth, and of course, the glories of Mansi Ganga. Mataji, I understand Mansi Ganga is the Ganges water, but Kusum Sarovar and Radha Kund and Sham Kund, they manifested, and so are they the waters of the Yamuna River over there? I mean, Radha Kund and Sham Kund, probably all the rivers were invoked, so maybe the rivers of
Yeah,
everywhere.
Radhakund and Shamkund, of course, was they're also similar, isn't it? That Krishna killed a demon in the form of a cow, and then the gopis were like, we're not going to associate with you until you go and purify yourself. And then Krishna invoked the presence of all the holy rivers. All of them appeared, and that's Shamkund. And then so Radharani and the gopis then decided that they're going to make their own kund. So they started digging with their bangles and stuff, and then they made a whole like a queue of gopis from the Yamuna with their pots, passing one on to another, and they started filling their little kund. And then Krishna was like, "Okay, I'll help you. I'll help you fill up your kund." And then so that's why both the kunds merged. So that's how Sham Kund and Radha Kund appeared. Obviously, it's a much longer pastime and everything, and we'll come to it.
Yeah.
Kusum
Kusum Sarovar,
Sarovar,
what?
Kusum Sarovar, there's a pastime. There's a pastime. Let me look into it this week. And then when I do the slideshow, then next time I'll include it in it.
Okay, thank you so much. But this was
Thank you.
really so sweet. I mean,
That
in
pastime, even like it is so amazing that pastime, even if after 20 years every year you read that pastime and it still just brings this smile to your face, and it's like you just feel like you're just listening to it for the first time, and they're exchanging, yeah, we'll throw you out, and it's so nice.
yeah, thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments from the group or any additions? There are no more questions or comments. Can I request Bhakta Mugo, are you in a position to end the session today, please?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Professor Kitika Mataji, for the opportunity. And please accept my humble obeisances, Your Grace, Ashwariya Lila Mataji, for that beautiful class. Yes. Before I end, maybe I can ask something. I was wondering whether like tricking people who are pretty materialistic into bathing into Manasi Ganga, could it be having the same or some particular effect for purification, like your family and friends who really do not know the auspiciousness of Manasi Ganga, and then you kind of trick them into having a shower? Is it a good idea
Yes,
for
absolutely.
their own
Absolutely.
yeah?
It'll still be very, very, very purifying.
Uh,
As to whether they would obtain love of God, that of course depends then on their activities, on their spiritual progress, but for sure it has a tremendous purifying effect.
wow.
Just even going around Govardhan Hill. This is very interesting. It'll take a minute. Mahanidhi
Yes.
Marathon was in good standing. He actually said something very, very important, that So he started saying, he goes, see why so many, the four-wheelers now come to Vrindavan from Delhi, and why all these Delhi walas are performing so many, you know, parikramas, is because Giri Govardhan, when you start the parikrama, Giriraj,
Yes.
invisible form, starts walking behind you or beside you, listening to all your desires. And then he fulfills those desires, even material desires. You know, people wanting a son, people wanting a husband. That's why Hanini Maharaj explained that there's this influx of Delhiwalas, you know, let's say coming in their four-wheel drives and wanting to do this parikrama, you know. But so, of course, we as devotees, we have a deeper understanding. Going to Giri Govardhan and doing parikrama for something material is like asking God for broken pieces of glass, right? But the point is that when you do Govardhan Parikrama or you bathe in these holy tirthas, there's so much tremendous benefit. And then Maharaj ended by saying that, so he will fulfill your material desires, but then in a way that the desires, he'll fulfill them in a way that they will also purify your heart. And eventually he will give himself to you. You know, so there's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, no? Any desire, no desire, material desire, just turn to Krishna. So it is the same. Turning to Giriraj or going and bathing in all these holy rivers. If you're taking a materialistic person who obviously will have material desires, but the potency of this place is such that it can either purify your desires or fulfill your desires in such a way that you'll get purified of these desires, and eventually you turn spiritually or you turn to Krishna. And it may not be in this one lifetime, it may take a few lifetimes. But these places are potent, very potent. I mean that, for example, that snake that Garuda was flying across with was a snake. Snakes are envious. Snakes eat meat, eat animals, you know, and yet just by touching the Ganges, he was transformed into his four-armed Vaikuntha form. So, you know, that's a brilliant example that yes, it may not be that drastic, may not be that immediate, but the purifying impact is huge, is huge. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Wow. Thank you. Yes. It wants even the desire builds up the desire to at least make an attempt to go and visit such auspicious, great places, holy places for pilgrimage. Now that we
Yeah.
have this knowledge, we don't really waste it, and also endeavor in more and more for Krishna and Bhakti. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was a good question. Thank you.
Yes, and also we can also bring our parents and our relatives and our friends into it,
Yeah.
even in our own wisdom and tricks. Yes, thank you. So,
Thank you very much. Hare
yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I think I'd like to request for the associate devotees to kindly unmute. We do one Maha Mantra in glorification of today's beautiful class on Manasi Gang in the pastimes, and also our mentor today, Her Grace Ashwariya Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vacha Karpataritya,
Vaishnavataritya, Kripatitya,
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Vaishnavaya
Namaha.
Namo.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Grace Ashwariya Lila Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
Govardhan Parikrama ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you
Hare
very
Krishna.
much.
Let us pray that we all can go to Govardhan Parikrama.
Funny, I
Today
was
is the
just
last day.
thinking that maybe next year, we
Yeah,
can.
we can all go together and
There's the Govardhan retreat that happens every year, isn't it?
yes.
It happens just by the banks of the hills of the foot hills of the foot of Govardhan Hill, and it's very nice, very nice. It's 6 days, and it's absolutely wonderful. And that happens around this time of the year.
Okay.
So I normally do go every year, and so I was just thinking, if anybody, we could go in a group.
Yeah, we can go. We can go.
Planning.
Let us pray that next year we can do this.
Yes,
Govardhan Parikrama. Yeah.
it would be very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Mataji, for this wonderful nectar.